Anything in particular when you say some tools?
Sometimes, like she also told, like when we don't make the red, how do you call it?
The arc or the, yeah.
Then people don't understand us, and we want to say something, but then it doesn't resonate with the listener, or the listener is misinterpreting. So,
yeah, having that connection with our audience is really important, because the audience actually is in charge of the communication. It's up to them to be listening and engaging. We have the misunderstanding that if we're speaking, we're the communicator, but it's not really like that. The communication is in the hands of the listeners more than the speaker. Yes?
How tools to overcome the initial urge to say no when somebody asks wants to speak? Was it to the class or like to make a presentation?
Sure, we're going to cover all of this. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, you guys are all on time. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's not easy, getting through that awesome prasadam line and taking prasadam with your friends you haven't seen in a year or 2 or 5 or 10, and then the urge to go take a nap or to take a japa walk in the beautiful sunny mountains. So thank you for being here. So I came into learning speaking because it was so challenging for me, and I had to. Early on, I was giving Bhagavatam classes and Sunday feast classes, but it was in a small temple environment, and it was safe. It was people I knew. It was comfortable, like that. Then when I had to go onto stages with 1,000, 2,000 people with work, it was like, I'm not going to do this. And I managed to come up with excuses for a whole year. And then the next conference that happened, that my boss, he just had me on the schedule all over the place. And I said, I didn't say yes. And he said, it's not an option. And I was like, okay. So, it's like sometimes you get thrown in on the deep end. And, I managed to make it through that conference with doing, 3 presentations and a few trainings. And it was like, okay, this isn't impossible for me. There's even a part of me that likes it. But I don't like being where I'm at. I want to be there. I want to be expert. How many of you are like that? You're like, well, yeah, I want to do it, but I want to be expert before I do it. So until I'm expert, I'm not going to do it. Anyone? Wow, we're all in the same place at the same time, yes. So Srila Prabhupada, there's quite a few places where he talks about his own journey and how he wasn't comfortable speaking. Imagine Srila Prabhupada not comfortable speaking. And yet he overcame whatever was holding him back, and he encouraged us. You'll find it so many times in room conversations and in letters to disciples. He just encouraged us that you just speak about Krishna and Krishna will help you. So, and the more we do it, the easier it gets, and the more we see where our strengths are and where our weaknesses are. So, obstacles, some of them are real, most of them are imagined, right? Think about it. So we're going to cover in this presentation these 3 things: overcoming our obstacles, preparing our talk. Because if you're prepared, that takes care of 75% of the mental challenges that we have, right? And also we'll touch upon not only preparing your talk, but making sure it's interesting and it's relevant and it's fun and it's how to remember everything you want to say. And then the art of speaking. There's actually wonderful tools for delivering our talks in such a way that people want to hear, that they're engaged and they're connected and they're remembering and they're excited and like that. So we're going to just start. Let's see. I think we have enough, we're a small enough group that we could do this if everybody really just says your name and something about you that nobody else knows. Okay? Everyone game for this? Okay. So, ladies first. Start with you. Mm-hmm. No. Oh, yes. Thank you. Microphone. Yeah. And just really only your name and something. Oh, and then something nobody knows. And that should just be a phrase or a sentence. Okay.
My name is Brigitte. I lived in America for 21 years.
Thank you.
My name is Vrindavan Vinodini Dasi, and I used to play the clarinet.
My name is Anita, and I can't ride a bike.
My name is Narayani Dasi. I'm adopted.
Thank you.
My name is Karuna Rasa or Stefka, and I'm a doctor in chemistry actually, and I like so much actually to talk. I found out before some time that I really have fun talking.
Yeah.
My name is Bishra. My English is not so good, but I try. I learned with 33 years for exams to university, and I want to go study.
Thank
Psychology.
you. Psychology.
My name is Loka Pavani Devidasi, and I like chocolate pancakes.
My name is Damodari, and I like a lot of arts.
Yeah, go ahead and pass, yeah.
Hare Krishna, my name is Steven, and I love to climb things. Anything.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Yannick, and when I was a teenager, I was agoraphobia. I had a fear of crowd, so it was difficult for me just to speak at all.
Hare Krishna, my name is Mathur Kishore, and I don't know what to say.
Hare Krishna, my name is Simon, and I press all the wrong buttons.
Hare Krishna, my name is Ananta Suridas, and I have 5 grandchildren, but I want more.
My name is Krishna Karunadas, and I love gulab jamuns.
That's not a secret.
My name is Gati Karidas, and I'm afraid to speak in public.
Hare Krishna, my name is Bhavesh Kapadia, and I'm an accountant.
No, we want to know something about you that nobody in this room knows. Yeah.
I don't know if anything is hidden from anybody, Hari Bhakti, so
Okay.
it's difficult for me. Sorry about that.
It's fine. We just wanted something a little more inside.
Okay, I'm on the spot immediately. So I'm Sri Hari Govinda Das, and I think the last 10 plants I tried to raise died.
Oh, these two gentlemen, yeah.
Hare Krishna, my name is Rajendra Nandan Das, and I like pizza and pasta.
Hare Krishna, my name is Arthur Agrawal. I didn't get philosophy very easily, that's why I really like Krishna Leelas, the Krishna book.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, my name is Anisa, and ever since I was about 6, I always asked for journals.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, my name is Damodara Priyadasi, and I love Shishira Ramananda Mohan's night milk a lot.
Hare Krishna, my name is Jenny, and I join Krishna consciousness in Australia.
Hare Krishna, my name is Yamuna, and my mother almost died because of my birth.
Hare Krishna, my name is Radha Dasi, and I used to figure skate when I was young.
Hare Krishna, I'm Kati, and I'm quite new in this philosophy or religion.
Hare Krishna, my name is Joanna, and I'm passionate about animal rights.
Hare Krishna, my name is Katerina, and I'm certified outdoor emergency care instructor.
Hare Krishna, my name is Shinjalila, or I'm nervous all the time.
My name is Neela, and I'm a trained seamstress.
My name is Shamandali, and I grew up playing the violin.
My name is Vishaka Priya. No. I have a big family. I'm one of 11 grandchildren on my mom's side.
Hare Krishna, my name is Sachisuta Dasi, and I just joined because of halwa, but now I can't eat it anymore because of allergies.
Hare Krishna, my name is Krishna Molini, and I'm such afraid of ice skating, but I like to look.
My name is Radha Priti, and I don't know any other languages, but I'm envious of everyone who does.
My name is Manjua Devidasi, and I love to knit, and I'm half Greek.
My name is Karunamai Devidasi, and I always wanted to jump out from a flying aeroplane, of course, with a parachute, and it never happened in my life.
There's time. There's time.
Never too late.
I'm Surya Kanya, and I was always too late at school.
Hare Krishna, my name is Sonam Kandoi, and I love heights. So I'm like an adrenaline junkie, and I like to jump from heights, obviously with some support. Yeah, but that's a little crazy side from me.
Hare Krishna, my name is Leka Sharanti, and I'm allergic against tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Hare Krishna, my name is Jessica, and I've always been terrible at mathematics at school.
Hare Krishna, my name is Radha Sundari, and I think I love potatoes and cheese so much because my mother, when I was in her womb, ate so much potatoes and cheese.
Hare Krishna, my name is Banu Nandini, and one thing you don't know, I think I will get suspended from drive because I drove too fast for too many times, and I'm waiting to get the letter that they suspended me from my driver's license.
I'm Devashi Radhika Devi Dasi, and I have 3 root canal treatments in my mouth.
My name is Julia, and I would like to have birds in India.
And this, yeah.
Okay, I'm Mike, Dr. Mike, and I just came from a rainbow festival in Italy.
He was there too. Did everyone get a chance? Did we miss anybody? Oh, okay. Okay. Ah, some hiding.
You missed it. No, I didn't miss anything. He missed your name. Okay, my name is Rinavan Chandra.
And all my teas are made in India.
My name is Kosarupa Mataji, and I enjoy playing golf.
Ja, mein Name ist Cecil und ich möchte gerne mal Helikopter fliegen.
Her name is Cecil and she wants to fly in a helicopter. That's the English word also.
And then we had Shami just come.
Hare Krishna, my name is Shama Premi Devidasi, and I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, I knew nothing before, but now I know it, and again, I'm a Turkishore, and I get car sick really fast.
Okay, everybody, got a chance? Thank you very much. Not only is it fun, everybody had fun with that. It's a great icebreaker, what we call, how many of you use that word icebreaker? Okay, it's very familiar. So, because it gets everybody out of their head and it immediately creates rapport with one another, especially if it's something you really don't know about them. And you also were really good at following instructions. When you're teaching or doing a presentation and you do open it up to the group, you want to make sure that nobody else overtakes the presentation and now they're the speaker. So just a word of caution. So I'm going to be flashing some things on the screen. I'm not going to read them. It's just for you to read and think about. So obstacles, like we said before, real and imagined. So these are the things I hear the most often. I'm not good enough, I'm not experienced, I'm not educated, not talented. I don't like how my body looks. I'm going to wait until I'm 20 years younger and 50 pounds lighter. I don't want to fail. I'm naturally shy. I'm not ready. I'll be ready next lifetime. I get too nervous. I have a bad memory. I can't remember anything, which is usually because of nerves that we forget things. And what if I blow it? I don't want to ruin my reputation, you know. So those are a lot of. Anyone have anything else? These are kind of general ones, personal ones, or ones you've heard from other people.
Not intelligent enough.
Not intelligent enough.
Someone else can do it better.
Someone else can do it better.
My ignorance will be exposed.
My ignorance will be exposed. Could blame myself. Get rejected.
I'm traumatized because somebody forced me to go in front and to shout something.
Still dealing with the trauma from being forced in the past. Yes? Maybe nobody will listen.
I don't have enough vocabulary or use of the language.
I don't have enough use of the language. My vocabulary is not good enough.
I don't think I'm meant for this.
I don't think I'm meant for this. Yeah.
Afraid of being boring.
Afraid of being boring. Yes. What if people laugh at me? Or worse, they laugh at me and don't do it out loud. Okay. So does everybody have a paper and a pen in here? Or are you sitting next to somebody who's got an extra piece of paper they can tear out for you? And I'd like you all to draw your box, whatever limiting beliefs or obstacles you have. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, just draw a box and write what's keeping you back, because it's a personal thing. If you were asked to give a seminar tomorrow here at the retreat, what would your mind say you why you can't do it? Why you won't do it, why you can't do it, why you shouldn't be the one they ask? And you don't have to write an essay, just, yeah. Can I see by a show of hands everyone who's pretty much done? Okay, we'll give another minute. Okay, I'm going to have you stop now. And how many of you have your phone with you? Oh, good, we're all digital nomads. Okay, now the next thing, so just put aside this list. We'll come back to it later. But now I'm going to ask you to choose a photo from your phone, just one photo. Doesn't matter if it's a place, if it's a thing, if it's a person, if it's a selfie, doesn't matter. Just go ahead and choose it before you know what the assignment's going to be. And be spontaneous. It doesn't have to be like a long, involved thing of choosing a photo. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to just break into partner shares, just one other person, and you're going to make up a detailed story about this photo, whether, about the person, and it doesn't have to be true. You're going to start your improv acting right now. You're just going to make up a detailed story about this photo, the backstory of it, and so no matter what the photo is, you're going to create something on the spot. Use your creativity. Do you need a phone? You can take one off of Shamananda's phone, and you can. So with your partner shares. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and switch if you haven't. And if you've already both gone, make up another story. I figured. Anyways, it's so funny, you know, everyone has their inhibitions, but as soon as you give them a chance to talk, no inhibitions. So it's all just the blocks in our imagination. So it's fun because almost everybody's already speaking, but they're still feeling secure. So, yeah. It's like when I ask the first question, how many of you speak? It's like, duh, you all speak. Yeah, 70 people here. Yeah, it's fun. Ah. Wow, I'm impressed. You guys are all natural speakers. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, with your same partner or partners, maybe we might even make them, I want you to tell your group something out of the ordinary that just happened to you in the last day or two, real or imagined, but You don't get to be this self-identity you have right now. You have to assume a completely different character. You can be somebody you've never been before in this life or a previous life. So think of a character, right? So, somebody from a Western, somebody from Bollywood, somebody from a cartoon character, something just really out of your box. Somebody you have never identified with personally, okay? And then you're just gonna, you're gonna tell them something that happened to you in the last few days, something that happened that you were sharing with them. And so put on a different accent, put on a different gender, put on a different, switch out of the human body into an animal body. You get to do it however you want. Go as far outside of your comfort zone as you can reach. Okay? All right? Okay, you got 3 minutes, and then we'll switch. If you haven't, go ahead and switch.
Yeah.
fun? I mean, it was so much fun watching you. You're like the most animated group I think I've ever had the privilege of being with. Like, wow. So I don't believe any of you have any inhibitions at all now. So what you just did was a little improv acting. And this is really good to do this, to get out of our own head. Because it's just this make-believe world we have, this make-believe identity that keeps us stuck, that, oh, I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I shouldn't do this, and I shouldn't do that. So when you assume a different character, it's like, oh, I can actually explore different facets of personality and all of these other things. Would anybody want to come up here and do it for the group? What you just did? Would anybody be brave enough?
Maybe I'll try.
Please.
Or is that me? I'll do my comfort zone. Oh. Praise the Lord and thank your blessing every moment of the day.
Thank you. And we heard some real loud laughing back there, Vishaka Priya. Do either of you want to share with the group? Go ahead, just stand up and do it from that corner. Laughter is contagious.
Finally, after waiting for 11 years, I got my letter to go into Hogwarts. But I realized that I'm really scared because there's so many things. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the platform of 9 3/4. I don't know if I'm going to remember the password to my house. What if I don't even get into the house I want to get into? Yeah, I mean, am I magic? Am I really going to be a good witch? I don't know. You have some help. Can you help me?
Any of the men want to share? Oh, please.
Well, my name is Krishna. My life is quite exciting, and I usually go around the world very fast. Whenever people speak about me, I try to sneak in. I keep myself hidden because I know that, I'm a little ashamed to tell it, but I'm very beautiful. So when I come, people, they get amazed and, they lose what thought they have. So, and actually, I can expand also. So I go around in all different places in the world, like thousands and millions of places. It's so amazing. And also, well, I have my own private life. That's a completely different world. And every time I can decide whatever I want to do. I have a lot of people to do all the boring stuff. So I only do all the fun stuff. So I like play the flute and have fun with the girls, and I do that whenever I want. So that's really fun, and that's how I pass my days.
Anyway. Anyone else? Please.
Hare Krishna, I'm Bhavesh Kapadia. I know of a very good Hindi Bollywood movie, but it's not about Bollywood. It's about family values. It teaches about Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Means there is much happiness in the world and there is sorrow at the same time, and it is centered around family values over a long period of time. And I know of people who would have watched this several times, but it's a very good movie, and encourage people who have not watched it before. It's very, very emotional movie as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to switch topics now, and because a lot of, we also want to encourage kirtan for everybody to break out of their shell. How many of you are already leading kirtan? Fantastic. How many of you, even though you lead kirtan, you're very selective of what group you lead kirtan in front of? You're still bashful about it. Okay, so one thing I wanted to share that not everybody knows this research, that when groups of people sing together, their minds and their hearts and their breath entrain. Especially like choirs who sing together often, and I think it probably would be the same if they did the tests on devotees who sing in the morning program together every day or evening kirtans together. When you have a group of people that sings together regularly, so much entrains. So that's like, imagine your heartbeats are lining up and your breath is lining up. It's pretty amazing. So there's so much even physiological benefits from coming together to sing and to speak and to share. So, I mean, what Prabhupada's given us is so perfect. That's just, our lifestyle is so unique in this world. So to become better at speaking, better at singing, there's so many resources now online. There's fabulous TED Talks, there's fabulous trainers, there's people who sell courses, there's courses for free. So we're not going to go so much into the details of all the body language, what to do, what not to do, how to stand, how not to stand, what to do with your hands, what not to do with your hands. Because those resources are available online if you look for them. But I want to just go into some really, I would say, memorable things for you, for all of us, is that I find a lot of what holds people back is their preconceived notion that they have to give a speech, right? You've got like, I know in high school and college we study the speeches of famous people from many years ago, and there's like, I don't know, they have to be like so special. But for most of our speaking, our presentations, it's about having a conversation. And it should be that warm and that friendly and that engaging for the other people, whether it's one person or 1,000 people, that you're having a conversation with them. And when you're speaking to an audience, you don't want to address them as, all of you out there. Because you're really only speaking to one person at a time, they just happen to be multiplied. So you want to speak to them as individuals as much as possible. There are circumstances where you will use general terms, but you want them to feel like you're speaking to them. And that's why there's so many things you can learn about with, if it is a situation where you're in an auditorium or on a stage and there's a large audience, then how you walk on the stage and how you connect with eye contact so that nobody in the room is feeling neglected. So if I'm looking over here, everybody here feels included. When I look here, I don't just look in one direction, or I don't just look at the ceiling in the back, like bad idea. So you actually want to include people and have a conversation. And there's other ways to, also with asking your audience questions and engaging them, show of hands. There's a lot of different ways to engage the audience in ways that don't take you out of speaking, but just keep them coming along with you. So does anyone know what the golden rule in speaking, giving presentations is? Besides you, for Davinodini, because we... Does anyone know? Or there may be more than one golden rule. But anyone want to guess what the golden rule of speaking is? Neela?
Speaking slowly?
Speaking slowly, well, that's a good idea. Not always, but that's not the golden rule, but thank you. Any other guesses? Or?
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike, just do it.
Is
Yeah.
it like what you're going to tell the audience? Do you tell it and say it and do it as like that?
But yeah, this probably isn't really fair the way I set you guys up asking this, but did you want to make a guess?
Open your mouth.
So the golden rule is it's never about you. And this is the biggest mistake a lot of speakers make. They're so caught in their own head. They think this is all about me and my presentation and what I want to sell or what I want to teach or who I am and who I want to impress. It's never about you. It's always about them. It's always about your audience. You're not in front of people to strut your feathers, do your dance, get people attached to you, attracted to you. That's not a wholesome way to go about speaking. It's done a lot of times. There's a lot of people in this world. I mean, the age of Instagram. It's all about me. The selfie world. But that's not what we, as, you know, we want it to be about them. So, and we want to be empowered by our spiritual teachers, by the Lord Himself, to share Krishna consciousness. And even if it's in a work environment where it's something that seemingly isn't connected with Krishna, if you have that consciousness and that awareness, people will feel that you're special, that you're genuine, that there's something different about you. So the biggest part of speaking is who you are on the inside, what you have to share. I remember Satchidananda Swami said once that we were at a kirtan festival, and one of the devotees was sitting down to lead kirtan, and he said, when you sit down to sing kirtan, your whole life sits down with you.
What?
When you, and it's true with speaking too. When you're presenting, whether you're singing or you're teaching, everything about you, your whole life, sits down with you. That's what you're going to be giving the audience. You can't separate your talk from who you are. It's baggage. So, and think of who your favorite speakers are and why they're your favorite speakers, what it is about them that you like the most or why you're enthusiastic to hear from them. And think about your favorite singers. What moves you when they're singing? Can everyone see the screen from where you're sitting? Okay, because I'm not reading all of the screens. Yeah. So, part of who you are, because we're a combination, we have these, we're spirit soul inside a physical body with a subtle body. So you want to nourish all of these. Of course, most important, nourishing our being, our spirit, but also nourishing your body. You want to be healthy. You want to be a role model for those you're teaching. So, and you want to nourish your brain. with what you're taking in, even valuable food supplements and exercise and all of these things, spending time in nature. So our japa is how we nourish our spirit, our soul. Healthy, wholesome food that's gifts from Krishna, gifts from the earth. I don't know how many of you know about maca. Maca is great brain food. Spending time in nature, grounding is really, really important. Our bodies are electric systems, and we need to have our feet on the bare earth. So if you live in a city, take time every day to put your feet, bare feet, on the earth. It might be a little hard during the snowy time of year, but however you can, connect with Krishna's nature. Spend time with yourself, alone, journaling, or praying, or one thing I do, and I talk to a lot of speakers who do, is they have their conversations out loud. When you're researching a certain topic, a certain Bhagavatam verse, something that you're going to be giving a presentation on, just talk about it to the four walls out loud, or and just because for many of us, if we're just doing it silently in our own head, it kind of doesn't get very far. It doesn't. How many of you do this where you speak out loud to resolve questions and and to practice? How many of you speak out loud when you're practicing a presentation? Okay, well, I want to encourage everybody to. Makes a big difference. Most people don't like their own singing voice because the voice, when they hear it recorded, because of what we hear in our own head sounds completely different than when the tape recorder or the phone plays it back. It takes a while to get adjusted. If you talk to people who are singers, they have to get used to it. So same with speaking. By speaking out loud, you get more accustomed to your voice. And even a really good thing to do is record yourself. Now it's so easy. You don't have to have a film studio. You got a camera and a little tripod or a friend. Because when you record yourself speaking, that's when you're going to notice all the tics, the things that you never knew you did. I remember once one of my friends says, you cluck when you talk? And I'm like, no, I don't. She goes, you do this. I'm like, no, I would hear that. And then years later, someone said, gosh, you're using like a lot. You're saying like, I got really good at not saying but I substitute it with like. And unless you've got friends around you who are willing to point these out to you, and it is good to have a speaking coach, to have somebody that you can practice, you can rehearse with, that can point out things like, get your hands out of your lap, or quit scratching your head, quit playing with your sika, quit messing with your watch, quit, we do things, and it's how we kind of distract our, give our nervous system something to do. I remember one person who would always pick apart the garland on the Vyasasana, and if you got people in the crowd like me that are ADHD, and they're like just watching the person play with the garland the whole class. It's like you don't want to give your audience something to be distracted by. So there's quite a few things like, that was the proper use of the word like, but overusing your arms, your hands. Have you noticed people that for every sentence they've got something going on, like constantly? Yeah, so you want to learn how to use your arms intentionally, because it's very helpful for your audience, because it can make a difference. It can emphasize certain points, make them feel included, help them understand, even very subtly, it's another way to reinforce what you're saying, but if you overuse it, it becomes a distraction. So I totally went on the tangent. Now I'm coming back to the PowerPoint when we're talking about nourishing your spirit. So again, spending time in nature. How many of you have had a chance to take a walk around here and walk down near the river and maybe go up to the mountain? Fantastic. And take advantage of this really clean mountain air. Take some, just intentionally do some pranayama in this mountain air. Fill up your water bottles from this glacier melt. The water you see coming out when you walk there, that's all pure water coming right up from the aquifer. They just pipe it up. You explained it to me, Shamananda, near your house, that this water is coming from, they just divert some of the water from the ground and coming right out. Yeah. And this is about mindset. Always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Krishna's appearing. Get good sleep. It's hard sometimes the night before you're doing a presentation. It may be hard, but it's really important that you have good sleep for the brain to work well. And yeah, climb to new heights. If you do use aids like visual aids, make sure you're not loading your PowerPoint. There's a great TED Talk, Death by PowerPoint. Remember how when people first started the PowerPoints and there's the whole Bhagavad Gita on the entire, it's actually really just to be not a diversion, but again, to a further stimulant for the audience when you're speaking, to augment what you're talking about, not to have your whole talk on the PowerPoint or on the visual aids. This is a very special place called Machu Picchu in Peru. And I've been there and I've hiked it there. And I'm not really sure why I put this in here, but I think it's just about, go for it. New heights. So preparing your talk, that's going to make you way more comfortable with speaking if you take the time to do the preparation. And notice when you're in classes or presentations with other people that you really enjoy listening to, notice what they're doing that you like. Become a critic. What do they do that you don't like? How would you do it differently? So the most important thing with preparing your talk is who's your audience? Because remember, it's for them. It's not about you. It's about them. So what are their needs? What are their interests? What are their concerns? What gets them excited? What's humorous for them? I know I have a friend who has traveled extensively, many different countries, and he marveled at his jokes that went over so well in Europe and America, really landed flat when they were translated into Russian and other languages. And it's like the cultures are different. The languages are different. What's humorous to people in one country is very different than another. So humor is something you have to be a little, you may have to do a little research. You may have to talk to the locals to find out, does this translate or not? He said even the translator would look at him and say, "Are you sure you want to say that?" He was like, "What's wrong with it?" And nobody would laugh in the audience except the Americans. So it's not just true with humor, it's true with quite a few things. To be careful, especially if there's anything in your presentation that touches upon politics or religion. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't talk about religion. But anyways, depending who your audience is, you want to craft your presentation accordingly. And what's your purpose? Why are you there? What do you want to share with them? What's meaningful? So I don't know if the word journalist is the same in Europe as it is in America. I think it is pretty universal. So when I say take a journalist approach, I mean, for myself, I want to learn everything I can about this particular topic or this personality that I'm giving a class on, or whatever your topic is, your theme is, find out everything you can about it and know you're not going to put all of that in your talk. But that will help prepare you, one, if there's questions, two, if you didn't time your talk or it just happens and now there's an extra 20 minutes. Have any of you ever done that? You thought you were so well prepared to give your 45-minute Bhagavatam class, and at the 20-minute mark you're out? You're through your notes, and now you're like, questions for 25 minutes? So if you've taken the time to get as much other information as possible, then you're going to be comfortable to continue talking. And you can make your presentation much more interesting, especially if you're getting different points of view and you're interviewing or speaking with others or listening to other people's classes on the same topic ahead of time, and so that it's not just a smaller perspective coming just from you or your life experience. It makes it much more interesting when you can share other people's points of view and other scriptures than the verse you're reading from, like that. This is advice I got from my dear God sister Vishaka, who we were together sometimes, and I always loved her classes. And I asked her once, I said, how do you organize your class material? And she's a phenomenal writer, if you don't know her. I highly recommend her books. And she wrote, 100, 150 articles for Back to Godhead over the years. And so she said, well, you know how to write an essay, right? Or you know how to write an article. And at that time, I was regularly writing articles in health journals and indigenous magazines. And she said, just write it like you would an article or an essay. Choose your theme, your core idea. Decide what you want your audience to take away. And have a strong opening. Limit yourself to 3 to 5 supporting points. Don't try to give a whole dissertation. And have a strong closing. Summarize your class or presentation, and then have a strong closing. And she didn't say all that. She had just said, organize it like an article or an essay. So I elaborated on that. But the point is, as soon as I'm a super visual person, I'm going to guess a lot of you are too, and as soon as I had written this out, it was like demystifying it, like, oh, I can do that. So I stick to this format, and it works very well. Then you can pretty much know how to gauge your timing on things, and having something that people have a takeaway. So how many of you were there yesterday morning? Boy, it feels like a week ago, in the class we did on the Uddhava Gita. How many of you were there? Oh gosh, almost all of you. Okay. So can anyone guess what my takeaway that I wanted from all of you would be? Shamananda?
You wanted to make us interested in or inspired in studying the Uddhava Gita ourselves.
Exactly. How many of you could you hear Shamananda? Okay.
You wanted to inspire us to study the Uddhava Gita by ourselves.
Yes. And how many of you did have that takeaway after the class? Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. I was praying so hard to Uddhava because he's like such a great devotee of Krishna, and I was like, how do I do this? So But it really, for me, it makes a big difference if I figure that out before I plan my class. How many of you would agree with this statement? And how many of you would disagree? Okay. So it is possible. Now, I will say, with the onslaught of dementia, Alzheimer's, like that, that's an exception. But for all of us in our age bracket, there's a trained memory and an untrained memory. There's fabulous neuroscientists teaching how to train your memory to improve it. And the first thing is to be aware of this, because this is killing our memory faster than anything ever has in history. Our overwhelm with all of our digital devices, how distracted we are, how our minds, our brains are just processing too much too fast all the time, and it's never stopping, and we don't have time in between to think, and we're just always on. It's nice being here without internet, right? In my building, there's no internet. Yes? Yes. Digital dementia. How many of us use Google Maps or Apple Maps when we drive somewhere? How many of us have it on even we don't need it? How many of us quit memorizing phone numbers? How many of us quit, gosh, what else are we super dependent on? Calculating. We quit adding numbers anymore. So this is all under the category of digital dementia, that we're letting the technology do everything for us, so we're not even using like the basic brain functions that an elementary school kid uses, right? We're just not using it anymore. So the brain is shrinking its capacity. So next time when you're driving somewhere and you kind of think you know, I mean, I'm old enough. All we had was maps, and for traveling Sankirtan, we had these whole atlases, and we had to figure out how to cross the whole U.S. back and forth and visit every town to distribute books. And we got good at reading maps, because when we weren't good at it, it was a problem. So yeah, when I found out about the digital dementia, I just started making an effort because I was the person who knew 20 or 30 phone numbers, always. And now it's like, okay. And, challenge yourself to start using your brain and growing it in other ways. How many of you know about the muse? The muse. The muse. So the muse, historically, inspiration was often credited to the muse that would visit you and bestow upon you that inspiration for the poem or the story or the painting or the design or the what? The dance. So the muse would visit you. So it was very personal. It was a person, like a spirit person, that would visit you and give you that gift. And it was always understood that when the muse visited you, you dropped everything else and took that gift. So now it's more impersonal. We call it inspiration. And hopefully as devotees, we recognize that it's super soul or it's some other blessing coming to us that gives us an inspiration. So the idea of stopping what we're doing to write it down or do a voice note or somehow capture that inspiration when it's there. I'm sure we all have the experience that once upon a time you were working on something and maybe it came in a dream or it came through somebody else's idea or however it came, and you went, oh, that's it, whether it was solving a problem or a point that you wanted to make in a class that you were going to give or something you needed for a presentation in your work, and you thought, oh, I'll remember that. That's so profound, I'll remember it. And then an hour later or a day later you went, what was that again? Anybody? have that experience? Okay. So I had one friend, he's left this world now, who is a very well-known author, and that's been my primary field is as an author. And he told me he had a notebook and a pen by his bed, in his car, in his briefcase, and the bathroom. Yeah, he had like 5 strategically placed. He never went anywhere without a pad of paper and a pencil. And anytime, because he would be writing 5 books simultaneously. And then he said, you don't stop, like, he's thinking about that other book, it comes, and then he would take that note and he'd file it in that file for that book. He wouldn't divert himself from what he was working on, but anytime that inspiration came, he would capture it. And I suggest you do the same. You know the saying that you can never step in the same river twice? You don't have that here? Because the river's in constant motion. So you can't ever step in the same river twice. So similarly, when that inspiration comes and it's flowing and it's gone, you want to capture it when it comes. Another important part of speaking is telling stories. There's a reason why all of our literatures are in story format. They're memorable. They actually work for our human brains. We think in stories, we remember stories, we tell stories. And again, there's wonderful ways to become an expert storyteller. Actually, Satchidananda Maharaj and I were discussing this. He visited us in Alachua. Let's see, this would have been 15, 18 years ago. And he was just learning, really like delving into the art of storytelling. And we were talking about the importance of doing public speaking. And he recommended to me to learn the art of storytelling, that he was personally really relishing how important that is in giving classes. And I so agree. Some people are philosophers and they're really happy to study and discuss and remember philosophy. And then there's people like me that if that philosophy isn't surrounded by story, the chances of me remembering it are pretty slim. But if it comes with the story and there's characters and there's a backstory and then there's a conclusion and then, yes, I'm going to remember that the rest of my life. Also, using quotes and metaphors is helpful in your talk. How many of you have ever been exposed or used, well, first, how many of you know the term mind mapping? Awesome. How many of you use it? Okay. So I like to prepare my classes and presentations with mind mapping. So it's pretty simple. And I don't know why you begin at 3 o'clock, if it's, a clock, but somehow it's, been studied by the neuroscientists that you start there and you move around and you end up with your conclusion of the class or presentation. And this can be for many different things you use mind mapping, but I'm just giving it in the context of planning your presentation. And keeping in mind that you only want 3 to 5 main points, or subpoints rather. This would be what it would look like. Now, this is never what it looks like when I'm doing it. This is what it looks like after I've worked through, and then I go back and redo it neat and tidy. But when I'm writing it, I must have left it. I had the one from the Uddhava Gita class, and my first one I did on the train had like at least 12 spokes, not 5 or 6. And then I slimmed it down and trimmed it. So with mind mapping, it's to help unlock your creativity. And you can use it as a flow of consciousness, or you can use it to create structure, either one. Our minds don't remember words, they remember drawings, pictures, symbols. So if you can ever simplify things to symbols and drawings, you can, at a glance, know the point that you wanted to say. And if you get stuck, like, you can do your mind map over several days, or it's not like you have to sit down and do it in 10 minutes. And then there's no wrong way to do it, and it's just a way to unleash your own creativity. So this is a little closer, so it's easier to read. And there's many different ways to mind map. This is the way I learned and the way I would teach in seminars. But those of you who have another way, I would love to hear from you as well, how you do it. And this was one class I gave, actually, it was a Sunday feast class on Shabda Brahman, the sacred sound of our songs and our mantras and our verses. And starting out with the benefit of sacred sound, and then the story of Gajendra and how he was able to remember the verses he knew from his previous life. And then this, one of my favorite stories of Jamuna Devi with Srila Prabhupada when they were staying in London at John Lennon's estate in Tittenhurst, and when Srila Prabhupada was singing bhajans, and this was for many of the disciples, it was their first time hearing Srila Prabhupada sing something other than the Mahamantra. And the exchanges with Jamuna and Srila Prabhupada, and her asking Prabhupada his favorite bhajan, and him telling her, Hari Hari Bipale. So that whole story there, and then Prabhupada, a beautiful letter from Srila Prabhupada to George Harrison about writing songs for Krishna, and like this. So there were certain, each of these was a different pastime story that I had notes and I had quotes from, and then we sang Hari Hari Bipale in the class, thanks to my husband who agrees to accompany me oftentimes in classes. And then we sang Narada Muni at the end, after, because we were talking about that pastime of when Narada Muni appeared in the class that Srila Prabhupada was giving at Conway Hall. And if you don't know that story, does everyone know these stories I'm referring to? They're all in Jamuna's book, Unalloyed Love. And they're also in Rancho Prime's book, When the Sun Shines, about the history of the Krishna consciousness movement in England. So I would like each of you to think of something you're passionate about, something you would like to share with others, maybe something that's been a little outside of your comfort zone, but you've been thinking, I'd really like to give a presentation on this. And you have time, because we won't, we'll be meeting again on Thursday. So you have from now until then to create your own mind map, how you would create your mind map for a talk. And you can choose any topic you want. How many of you want to challenge yourself to do this? Oh, okay. And you want to, when we speak, we want to leave an impression. We want to leave something. And again, it's about them, it's not about us. But we want to leave people with something that they take away that gives them an impression. And by practicing our talks, it gives us competence, and competence gives us confidence. You can't jump to confidence without a few steps in between. I took one course with, let me see if I can remember his name, Chris Anderson, who's one of the co-founders of the TED Talks. And it's a course on how to prepare a TED Talk. And if you're familiar with the TED, how many of you are familiar with TED Talks? Okay. So you've got, some of them are 12 minutes, some of them are 18 minutes. That's it. You have to present your whole thing in 18 minutes or less. And most of those speakers prepare those for a year before they give them. And they work with a TED coach. And they get, and these are already, many of them, professional speakers. And they get really, it's amazing what they go through to deliver that 18-minute talk that now when we're watching it and it's got 20 million views, it's like, yeah, there was a lot that went into that 18 minutes. So get used to the idea that if you're going to be as good as you can be, it means that you're going to be practicing all of the things we're talking about and more. So one of you asked about the nervousness that comes before you speak, preparing yourself before you talk. Makes a big difference, and most professional speakers do have their own pre-speaking ritual. So find out what works for you. For some people, it's to sit in a quiet place, do some deep breathing, prayer, or silent meditation. For other people, it's running around the conference center before they go on stage, or dancing wildly in the kirtan before they give the Bhagavatam class. So reframing that adrenaline, not to see it as a curse, that it's making me sweat, it's making my nerves, my stomach's uncomfortable. Instead, it's like, oh no, this is a blessing. It's chi, it's prana coursing through your body. So it's about harnessing it and channeling it, because when you speak, you have to be on fire. You have to have so much more energy to keep your audience awake, to keep them attentive, to keep them engaged, connected, because your responsibility is to get and keep your audience high. So you have to put out a lot of energy. And when you deliver your talk, there is the art of speaking in so many ways, what we talked about before. How you start makes all the difference if people are going to stay with you, if they're going to be attentive. If you start out apologizing that you're not a really good speaker and they didn't have anybody else, so you're doing the class today, you just lost them. They all just went to sleep on you. They're planning their day, they're doing something else, they're slipping out of the class. Start powerfully. And don't apologize. But do be authentic. Be vulnerable. Don't be pompous. Don't be strutting your feathers. And this is the most important part. Take your listeners on a journey. Yeah, don't forget to breathe. It's so common, because that's the first thing that happens when we're nervous, is we tighten up, and then your voice goes high, you kind of lose a little bit of your... And it's fine. You can take pauses. You can stop. You can even ask your audience, like, oh, can we all stop for a minute and just take a deep breath, get centered. Thank you. You can engage them in doing it with you. You can also, in a conference-type setting, you can ask everyone to get up and move their body, do some simple exercise, do something where they're moving so that they're attentive. Gives you a minute to move some of your energy around. Find the pace. Again, depending on who your audience is, you may have to change your pace. Are you speaking to a room full of third graders? Are you speaking to a retirement home? Are you speaking to people that your language isn't their first language and they need a little extra time to translate what you're saying in their head? So your pacing is going to be different for different audiences, and it's also going to be different in your talk. Slow down before you have an important point. Take a pause. Get everybody waiting for the next thing. And then sometimes you speed up to convey more energy and to pull the energy back up. So you have to vary the pace. One pace does not fit all for your whole talk. And there's many ways to engage your audience, depending, again, what format it is. Anytime you can do partner shares, group shares, is so good, because pay attention. If you look out and you see your audience is like nodding off and sleeping, stop what you're doing, stop your agenda, and ask them to talk to the person next to them. I even do this in Bhagavatam classes, because they're not going to get anything from the class if they're sleeping. And they're not going to have a... So however you need to engage them, or also asking them questions. And I do a lot with children, so their attention spans are very short. And I see Mathura, you're also nodding. Yes, you've got to just keep things going fast. So you want to connect. Isn't that cute? How many people love elephants, right? I'm doing a children's book on elephants right now, so I'm collecting beautiful photos of elephants. And if you do use visual aids, you want them to be memorable. You want them to be dynamic, out of the ordinary. And if you could see this photograph, this is a place I love in California. If you could see this lighting, it's pretty murky. But now on the other side of your paper, where you wrote down your, what was that? You guys, you don't still have any. Yeah, you're not still in the box, right? See, the box is broken. Okay, now I want you to think about, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you bring to the table? What do you have to give others? So these are just a few. I'm creative. I like people. I'm a natural storyteller. I have a positive mindset. I'm able to laugh at myself. I love to learn. I love to research. I'm good at breathing. I can be spontaneous. I love listening to other speakers. So write down your strengths. I'm multilingual. I'm good at Sanskrit pronunciation. I like to sing. All of these are strengths. Who wants to share a strength you have that's different than what's here, that you wrote down? Just something else that you have that's a strength.
I enjoy giving class, even though I don't have a lot of realization and I'm kind of new. It helps me a lot just to understand more of, I guess, the concepts of the theology, if I can speak it to other people. And the pressure also helps, because it makes me feel like I really have to know it well.
Wonderful. Actually, that's really important point that you brought up, is that when we study and we know we're going to have to repeat it, that we're going to teach it, it activates a different part of the brain. And it also increases the memory so much more of what we're reading when we're repeating it to others, whether it's in an informal setting, maybe you've got a reading group, or it's giving a class. It's really important, and that's one of the important reasons. I mean, Prabhupada told us, like, to always to give classes and to speak Krishna consciousness, Krishna Katha with others. It makes such a difference in our own memory and realization. Anyone have other strengths as well that you want to share? Yes.
I think my voice could be quite motivating. Like also my energy that I can give into a topic that I'm really like.
Wonderful. Could everyone hear? Voice. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll pass the mic.
So what other people were telling me is that sometimes I could be, my voice could be very motivating, or like also my energy that I could give into a topic that I really like. So.
Thank you. Anyone else write down some other strengths that you can share? Lokapavani?
It is similar, it's the same, it says can be spontaneous, but sometimes, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I find it sometimes very enjoyable to give spontaneous classes. Because, I don't know, sometimes things come to my mind that I thought I didn't think about them before, but then it just flows, and I then feel connection with Krishna, so I like it.
Thank you. There's nothing wrong with giving spontaneous classes. Anyone who's speaking will have many opportunities to have to give spontaneous classes. And like you said, I know some very senior God sisters and God brothers that they don't do what we were just talking about with the preparation. They're very steeped in studying. They study a lot, so they've imbibed the teachings, and they've been doing this for decades, so they don't need that. I find for people that are breaking into it, it's very helpful, because it helps with that confidence.
But I think also I need to sometimes have a structure, because you can also overdo it. You talk, and then people cannot follow you because your brain functions on some level. So I think it's good to have structures.
Well, and some people speak spontaneously and they still have it structured because they think in a structured way. I don't. I have to have my goalposts along the way. I have to have a roadmap for myself, because otherwise, I can go on tangents and never find my way back. Which is really good for writing children's literature, by the way, but not necessarily in a Bhagavatam class. Anyone else want to share? I'm looking at all of you and just making lists in my head of those of you I know and those of you I'm thinking, oh yeah. I mean, I'm serious about being multilingual is a wonderful strength. And your life experience is also a strength. And some of you are already teachers. And all of you who are moms and dads have been teaching ever since your children were born. And I mean, just look at all of these other strengths. These are all strengths for speaking. So I was trying not to run over, but we haven't gone much over, so you could probably do this. Just 3 things that you learned or experienced today and how you will implement them. And if you'd like to choose a different partner than you had before, and just share your 3 things and your implementation before we go. That'll be the last thing. Find a new partner. I don't want to stop you. I love the energy in this room right now. I know you guys are all planning how you're going to take over the world. This is for Prabhupada and Krishna. Thank you so much. But the next class starts at 4:30 with Keshava Maharaj. So what I'd like to ask you before we adjourn is just how many of you want to do something on Thursday as well? How many of you would be coming back for Thursday? I know some of you. Oh, okay. All right. We'll come up with some more cool things to do on Thursday. And is there anything in particular any of you would like us to do on Thursday together? Any particular areas you want me to focus on? Or?
I'm just thinking, like, could you show us a way of how to incorporate, like, spiritual quotes into presentations?
How to incorporate spiritual quotes into presentations, okay.
I'm afraid of quoting verses in Sanskrit. I know them, but whenever I have to come, some I know them all. Then I come from the other side, totally forget. It doesn't exist in my brain. Like I'm afraid, and how to, maybe you can say something about it or your experience.
Yes, I'll be happy to give you some suggestions on Thursday. And anything else on Thursday for us to do? Yes?
The fear to be there, and to be responsible for that class, to give some, there's a fear, that you have fear at the moment that you go and to deliver.
Yeah, and okay, we can talk more about the fear. Okay, thank you. And
how to be able to say what you really want to say.
Okay. Anything, gentlemen? Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate your intentional enthusiasm. And know that this is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. He envisioned a whole army of preachers, Sankirtan devotees, and it's really important that we all learn to write and to speak about Krishna. It's, Prabhupada asked us to write our realizations and to speak about Krishna. So this is a very, very important service for us all to do. And we used to call it, like a speaking support group, a kirtan support group, to help one another, encourage one another, have friendships and WhatsApp groups and locally and online, whatever it takes to keep enthusing one another to make progress in speaking about Krishna. So again, huge round of applause for all of you and your intentions and your beautiful hearts and all the progress you made today. Haribo! Okay. You guys all just feigned that you were like not speaking. I said all these people came feigning that they needed help learning how to speak, and I'm watching you all and you're all experts.
Yeah. Of course. But you might want to open the windows a little bit too high. Yeah, maybe.
Like that we can see a little
It's for it because we
Aber hier, aber jetzt, weil jetzt schon mehr kommt, dass wir das so ein bisschen auch machen. Ja, genau.
Ja, das war mal ordentlich, aber da ist immer die Hülle abgefallen und dann...
Also die Karte
ganz gekauft, ganz normal, ganz normal.
Ganz normal, nicht selber.
Nee, nee.
Ja.
Nee, echt nicht.
Ja, ja.
Nur weil hier, ich hab dann irgendwann hier so ein Filterbogen. Und dann hat er mir gefragt, ob ich die Hülle abnehmen oder den. Was will ich denn? Das? Ja. Aufgelöst? Ja, ich will nur. Was will er? Oh, was will ja, die sind Auswahl importiert. Ja, ich so Lüfter stehen. Ist die für euch oder? Achso, das stimmt, das ist ein Computer, der hat. Also ist ja 5, 6 Kameras arbeiten. Also weit sauber.
Ja, ich weiß jetzt aber den gemacht am besten.
Cool, danke.
Wie ist der? Wie ist der gemacht? Kannst du mal schauen, wie viele Nummern der hat?
Ja.
5 Millionen. Hier steht drauf, der hat 3.200.
Das ist zu wenig.
3.000 ist zu wenig.
Should I sit on the floor?
Okay.
All right. No, we can use it. Oh, sorry.
I can bring it up.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. So nice to see everyone. Yeah, that's good. So nice to be here. Thank you so much for coming. My deep apologies for being late. ISKCON Standard Time. Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu. Yeah, but I'm really, really honored to be here and happy to be able to share something with you. The Bhakti retreat is always, it's always a memorable retreat for me. It's the first place I came to after taking sannyas, so I always remember this place and this sangha and the wonderful inspiration and gems of wisdom and just spiritual nourishment that we get from being with each other is so powerful. And it's also nice to walk in the mountains as well. So today we'll just do a kind of short introduction just to kind of begin the topic slowly. And then in the coming days we'll hopefully get a little deeper. Hare Krishna. Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya वृंदावन धाम जय कृष्ण बलराम निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Sankirtan ki